So why do capable people sometimes stop showing up as their capable selves, even when the pressure's on? Well, by the end of today's show, you'll understand why this happens, why your brain and nervous system are doing and being as they are. And I'm going to show you a simple 5-minute process that you can use before an important meeting or a presentation, conversation, or event. So most morning routine advice is productivity theatre, right? Maybe it's cold showers, gratitude list, 5 o'clock affirmations, and it feels like you've done the work, right? Yet you still walk into a particular meeting or situation and suddenly it's like someone switched off your confidence. Can I ask you something? Like, have you ever driven home and then you've gone, why didn't I say that? You know exactly what you wanted to say, but in that moment, it just disappeared. I don't actually think that's a confidence problem. I think it's about what happens to your brain and your nervous system when the pressure is on, right? And today I'm going to show you a simple 5-minute process going to help you prepare for those such moments when they happen. So if you haven't met me before, I'm Julie from Milliside Therapy and Coaching, because you are highly capable and you've got years and years of experience. And come on, let's be honest, you know your subject matter inside out. Yet you still find that there's certain situations that maybe you hesitate, maybe you overthink, or you just simply go quiet and you just don't show up as that version of yourself that you know you can be. Today we're going to explore why that happens, and I'm going to guide you through what I call the 5-minute room primer. Have you ever gone quiet when you knew the answers? Right, so let's think. Maybe you're at home, even in an argument at home. Maybe it's at work, maybe it's with friends, maybe it's with family, but you know the answer, right? Maybe what you do is you over-explain it and give out all these different in-depth information when actually no one's actually asked for it. But there's something in you that feels like you need to over-deliver on this, right? And you know that you've rehearsed it over and over again in your head, and actually it sounded perfect, right? And then a moment later you struggle to find the words, and then it's that, I should have said this, I should have done that. Why did I cry? Why did I get annoyed? It's very, very annoying, isn't it? Right? Now, why do we do that? Well, it's not something that we're consciously trying to do. We're not consciously trying to sabotage ourselves and mess it up, but it's our subconscious programming, right? And that might be going back down your timeline to years ago when something happened and you were in panic mode, and maybe you spoke too quickly, maybe you was keep losing your train of thought, whatever it was. But the situation they're in now might not be anything to do with that. It might be going down to your subconscious programming. Now, what's important to understand is we've got our 5% conscious, 95 subconscious. So if we're trying to fight this 95% subconscious, we're going to be in trouble, right? So it's about trying to reprogram this 95%. Now, I worked in the corporate world for 35 years before I started on this journey. So I've worked with so many capable people, and I've seen this happen a lot. And also as a therapist and coach, I see it a lot in my clients as well. And I know they're capable, they know they're capable, but something just doesn't align, right? And that's what we're going to look at today. I'm going to give you 5 options, right? So which of these sound familiar to you? Is it number 1, going quiet in a situation when you shouldn't be doing that? Number 2 is overthinking. Number 3 is thinking of the perfect answer afterwards. Number 4, replaying the whole thing over and over and over in your head. Or of course, number 5, all of the above. I definitely have done all of them, especially the replaying it afterwards. I'm not as bad now, but I still get caught out. And like, why did I do that? Why didn't I do that? Why did I say that? I know what I wanted to say. It's very irritating. And I've noticed a lot with family members as well, because I think you kind of regress back to childhood, and that's what's happening. It's that childhood programming, right? But obviously this happens in work situations, it happens in other situations, and work is really frustrating because you want to show up, don't you, as that professional. You want to show up as that one who's got it all together, and most of us can do that to a point, and sometimes people don't notice, but we notice. And then that's when you start overthinking and worrying about it again, right? So just to give you kind of like a little bit more of an example, when I was preparing for this, someone came to mind which I thought fitted this category. She was exceptionally good at what she did, right? She, you know, if you knew them, you would go, oh my God, they're so together. So everyone saw her as capable and confident, and she had years and years of experience and knew her role inside out. But one thing that her colleagues and family didn't realise was every Monday morning before she went into the office, she was sitting in her car for about 10 minutes because she had to try and persuade herself to walk through that door. Sunday night was the Sunday night dread. And yeah, Monday morning she would get up still in that kind of negative mindset, but had to sort of psych herself up to actually get into the office on a Monday morning. I think once she had done the Monday, it wasn't quite so bad. It was just getting through that. Now, she didn't need another confidence course, right? And she didn't need someone to give her another list of positive affirmations. What she needed was her nervous system to stop treating Monday morning as though it was a threat. I think one of the biggest myths is that confidence can suddenly disappear. But actually, I don't really think that's true. I think it's more about the pressure of the state of your nervous system that you're operating from. And that's what causes the problems, right? Because your body starts responding to a situation before your conscious mind even knows what's going on, right? So in other words, your body is going to react to a situation before a thought has even happened. Now that takes a lot to get your head around, actually, doesn't it? That before you've even thought something, your body's already reacted because it's in your filing cabinet, it's in your subconscious programming. And that's why sometimes you go, oh my God, I've just reacted like that. I don't even know why. I don't know where that come from. That's because your subconscious programming decided that your body didn't feel safe in whatever situation you was in, and it's decided that it needed to do something about it. And this is why subconscious programming is so important. So if your brain detects pressure, maybe judgment, uncertainty, or risk, your nervous system will move in to protect you, right? So your mind's only job is to protect you and keep you safe, right? So that might look like fight and flight, it might be freezing, it might be avoiding, it might even come out as people pleasing, over explaining, rushing, to get something done, or becoming so focused on getting it right that you can no longer access what you actually know, right? And exams are a good example of that, aren't they? When you've been ramming all this information into your head and you get there and you're like, oh, I can't think of anything. It's because your body doesn't feel safe and it's not allowing you to be calm, and it's not allowing you to access what you need to access in your subconscious, because that's where all the information is, right? It's not sitting in that conscious mind, it's in the subconscious. But we have to tell ourselves that we need to be confident. Of course we do. We need to start our day feeling confident. And I'm not saying we don't do affirmations, and I'm not saying that we don't do all of that. We absolutely 100% do. But that's not always going to get us through these situations during the day. And this is where this little technique comes in, because you can actually prep for it before you even need it, right? So I've had to do this today because, well, lots of stuff's been happening in my life recently, and I've had to really get myself together today. I don't want you to think that I have it all sorted and I have my shit together all the time, because I don't. But when I've got the tools and techniques, I can get myself back on track. And it might take a day, it might take a week, it might take a month, but I know what to do. I don't necessarily do it, but I know what I need to do. But when I do it, then I can start seeing the positive changes, because it's all about how we show up. It's about how we feel safe, how we feel grounded and present. And you can access more if you know how to. But when your body, your mind, and that feels threatened, your focus can change, and then your performance changes as well, because it's just going into that protection mode. So sometimes we can show up differently, as we know we've got to walk into a meeting and we might show up not how we want to, presenting to senior colleagues or speaking at an event. All these things are kind of outside our comfort zone, but we can do them and we want to do them, and we are more than capable. All right. But sometimes we have to do some work beforehand to get us in that state. And sometimes it can be a difficult conversation, can't it? We talk a lot about work environment, but all of this is relevant to whatever job you do, to whatever things you've got going in your life, right? We don't segment our subconscious mind into, oh, I'm at work now, so I'll go into my work subconscious mind. Oh, I'm at home now, so I'll go into my home subconscious mind. It doesn't work like that. It is our subconscious programming. And we have masks. Sure, we can put masks on and behave in a different situation to what we might, I'm talking to you and I'm doing my best to be professional. I might be shouting at my husband later. Do you know what I mean? I'll have a different mask. I don't tend to shout too much, but you react differently in different situations, right? But the subconscious program is still the same. And you might have a work situation, a home situation, to completely different subject matters, but you might be triggered in a very similar way. So one of my favorite things I like to talk about is our imagination and visualization, right? Because it's so super important. Now, before we go through the process that I'm going to show you, I want to just explain a little bit about how this works, right? I want to talk about imagination because it is the most powerful tool that we all have, and it's totally free. It's not like a contract where you can only use so many minutes of it a day. We've all got it going on in here, our imagination. Now, the problem is most of us don't use it in a correct manner, right? We're using our imagination all of the time. You don't realize you are, but you are. So when you're having a panic attack, anxiety attack, talking about yourself negatively, not treating yourself as well as you should, dreading everything, panicking, fearing everything, worrying about everything, you're using your imagination, but you're using it in a really magnificent negative way, right? What you need to understand is your mind sees images, right? It filters those images and it looks at what your imagination is sharing. So if you're going, oh my God, I'm going to go into that meeting, I'm going to make a fool of myself, it's going to be the worst moment of my life, oh my God, it's going to be horrendous, or oh my God, I can't get on that flight because it's just going to be terrible and everyone's going to die and all that. You're in that fear state. And then as a result of that, your body goes into that fight flight mode. It goes into the state of fear. It goes and pulls back anything that's happened to you in the past and brings it to the surface. So for example, the fear of flying, it probably isn't anything to do with flying. It might be something that's happened in your childhood that you were made to feel unsafe or you didn't have control. So it's all connected. And this is why I'm saying it doesn't matter what situation, whether it's home or work or whatever, the trigger might still be the same. So what we have to understand is if we understand that we're using our imagination and we're manifesting all the time, right? Some people like talking about manifestation, but whether you like it or not, using your power of your imagination, whether you're showing it positive stuff or negative stuff, you're putting it out there. You're putting it out there to the universe, to God, whatever it is that you want to believe in. But whether you believe it or not, it's irrelevant because it's happening. All right. So once we start understanding that once we present positive things to our mind, then more positive things will happen. This is the law of attraction. Okay. So if you're putting positive things in front of you, more positive things will happen. If you're full of negativity, then guess what? You're going to get more negativity. So it's about the image that we put in front of us. So if you see yourself becoming embarrassed, overwhelmed or tongue-tied, then that's going to keep replaying. You're going to replay, like maybe you're replaying yesterday's mistakes, all right? Instead of thinking, well, do you know what? I messed up yesterday. I'm going to make sure I don't mess up today. Then that's great, right? Because we've stopped that pathway, neuro pathway, if you like, to now start going, well, that's okay. I messed up, but I know what I did wrong. I'm going to do that differently today. And then you start putting, those positive things in front of you. So what I'm trying to say is the good news is that we can choose how we present ourselves and we can choose to behave differently. All right. So if you think about a time where your heart was like racing and your muscles felt really tense and maybe you just kept holding your breath and your body just reacted, that's a stored memory. So if you're thinking of a situation in now, your body's going back and pulling that back. So it's going to give you that racing heart, tight muscles. So it's about saying, do you know what? I've got this. I'm going to go into that meeting room. I'm going to go into that meeting with my husband or wife or whatever. And I'm going to do this primer and I'm going to prime myself and I'm going to visualize what it's going to be like. And I'm going to play it out. And because you sort of played it out already, your mind's already going, okay, we've done this already. This is familiar. That calm body's familiar. The way she speaks is familiar. And the more we do it, the more we practice, it becomes our normal. because your mind learns by repetition, all right? But the good news with this little process is because it is visualization in your head, you can do it anywhere. So you don't have to physically walk into the room and rehearse it. You can be sitting on the loo, you can be in your car, you can be just sitting at your desk. Wherever you're, if you're going to that meeting, you might just take yourself off to the loo or something to give yourself do a few little deep breathing exercises and just process this exercise that we're going to do. All right, so this is the 5-minute room primer, as we like to call it. So remember, you can use this if you need to prep for a presentation, a difficult conversation. Maybe you've got to go to a networking event. I mean, they can be quite horrible, can't they, when you don't know anybody? I've done a lot of networking. I haven't done any for a while. And the thought of doing it, I must admit, doesn't enthrall me. So I will need to go through this process and walk in being this most amazing woman that everyone wants to come and talk to. Let's start now with step 1. Now, this is about choosing the moment. And by that, we mean, what meeting are you going to? What conversation do you need to have? What event are you going to? All right. So like I said, if you're able to, if you can gently close your eyes for a moment or simply soften your gaze and just think about the week ahead of you now. You know, what have you got tomorrow? What have you got Friday or the weekend or maybe next week? Right? A situation that maybe is a little bit outside your comfort zone. All right. It might even just be a conversation with a colleague. But what I want you to do is just take a moment just to think about what that is. All right. I don't want you to think about confidence in general. I just want you to think of a specific moment, a real situation that's coming up for you. And if you can't think of anything, maybe think of a situation that's happened before and then do this process to see how you could have done it differently. Hope you got your moment in mind. And by the way, you don't have to tell anyone what it is. Just hold that situation in your awareness. All right. Now, step 2 is all about calming your body. All right. So now you've got your moment. Now let's prepare your body for it. Now, if you can, I want you to place both feet on the floor and feel that support underneath you. All right. And just allow your shoulders to soften and unclench your jaw. Sometimes we don't realise we're clenching. And then I want you just to slowly breathe in through your nose and then breathe out slowly. And again, slowly in and a longer breath out. You're not trying to force yourself to feel confident. You're simply helping your nervous system to move into a calmer, more settled state. So just take a moment to notice the chair that's supporting you. Notice your feet connecting with the ground. And just allow yourself to be there in that moment, feeling safe, supported, present. Okay, step number 3. Become that version of you. So what I want you to do now is bring your situation back to your mind, the one that you chose, right? But instead of picturing everything that goes wrong, I want you to imagine the most calmest, clearest, the most capable version of you preparing to enter into that moment, all right? So I want you to remove any images that are negative, and in your mind's eye now, with the power of your imagination, think about that person that you really want to be, who you are, but sometimes don't show up as, all right? That person is controlled under pressure. They know how to sit or stand, you know, with a posture, maybe with your shoulders back, looking and feeling confident, all right? I want you to notice how you're breathing. How's that confident version of you breathing calmly? Yeah, maybe you can see them just doing some breaths. What expression do they have on their face? It's calm. Maybe they're smiling and they've got that confident look, all right? What do they believe about themselves in that moment? And in that moment, I want you to remind yourself things like, I know more than someone gives me credit for. Do you know what? I'm allowed to be heard. I can stay calm even when other people don't. I don't need to prove myself. And notice how this version of you takes up space. You know, not aggressively, not apologetically, just calmly and naturally. And allow yourself to step into that version now. Okay, well done. Step 4. We're going to choose your anchor, all right? So what I want you to do is choose one simple sentence that you can take into that moment, and it needs to feel believable, grounding, and it needs to be supportive, all right? Something like, I've prepared for this, or I can trust myself. I do not need to prove myself. I'm allowed to take my time. I can stay calm and speak clearly. I already have what I need. Or you can choose your own words that feel more natural to you, right? That's just some examples to help you, because I know when I'm doing these kind of things, I find it really useful when someone helps me and gives me some ideas, right? And just whatever your saying is, whatever your sentence is, just say it quietly in your mind over and over again. All right, one more time. Notice how your body feels when you're anchoring that positivity. I want you to let your body connect with the meaning of those words. All right. And then step 5, we're going to walk into the moment with intention. All right. So now we're going to mentally move forward into that situation. Because like we said, you don't have to physically do it. You can do it in your mind's eye. So I want you now just to simply imagine that moment unfolding. I want you to picture yourself approaching that room or that conversation or the event, whatever it is you've chosen. Notice your breathing, notice your posture, and notice the pace at which you move. All right. See yourself entering calmly. I want you to hear yourself speaking clearly. Imagine yourself listening without immediately becoming defensive. Yeah. I want you to see yourself pausing before you respond. Picture yourself remembering what you wanted to say, saying it clearly with the right emotion, not getting upset when you want to be calm. Just see yourself delivering that message in the way that you want to. And if something unexpected happens, imagine yourself remaining grounded and responding rather than just reacting. Just do that for me now. And remember, you don't have to be picturing you as perfection. Just simply imagine yourself staying connected to the version of you that you trust, all right? And see the moment reaching its natural conclusion. And then I want you to notice how you feel afterwards. Perhaps you feel proud. Maybe you feel really relieved and calm, or simply pleased that you showed up differently. And then I want you to take one more slow breath and out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes or bring your attention fully back into the room. Well done. And if you did that, really well done. Okay. Now you might find it a little bit alien to start with, but the more you practice it, the better you will become. And the more your mind's eye sees you as that confident person, you will be that confident person. One thing to remember is you can do all the work on yourself, right? You can be showing up in this situation as the best version of you. But that doesn't mean the people that you're delivering this to can do the same. The only thing that we can control in life are our own thoughts. We can't control other people's. We can't control things that are out of our control. But what we can do is control what we think, what thoughts we put in front of our imagination, what we put through our RAS that filters the things that we're going to see for the day. Right? We can control that. We can control how we show up. So remember, you might have performed that conversation to your best ability, but it doesn't mean that they will have received it how you wanted them to. So just bear that in mind. We can't control them. All right. This process is not about becoming someone new. And it's not even about creating a false persona of someone who's confident. It's not, walk the walk and walk the talk and you'll be that person. This is about removing some of the pressures that prevent you from accessing the person you already are, all right? So it's that rewiring and that subconscious programming. So the more you do this exercise, the more you won't have to think about it. You'll just do it as part of a process and it will happen really, really quickly. And you go, all right, I'm going to go into that meeting now. Good, done, all right? And it should start eliminating any of those situations where you just freeze or you just overthink, you overtalk. You get lost for words, all those good stuff, all those good things that are really frustrating. And these small moments, just doing like a little rehearsal, I promise you will start making changes in your life. And this is what, with this show, this is about me helping you understand the basics, right? It starts off with the way we show up. And actually, I've got a really great audio that you can download called the Evening Upgrade, right? So when we have something to happen tomorrow, the best thing we can do is to start that preparation the night before, all right? Because if we go to bed and we're overthinking, we're worrying, and we're not focusing on sleep, then chances are you're not going to sleep, and then you're going to be in not a great place tomorrow morning, right? So tomorrow doesn't start when you wake up. It starts with how you finish your day. So if you download this free audio, there are some other audios that you can purchase on the back of it, by the way, which will give you the whole suite. But this one's totally free, all right? And it will help you calm your mind and calm your body so that when you go to sleep, you will be sleeping and you will be calm. And then you can wake up in the morning feeling much fresher, in a much better place, all right? But as always, I've got a little challenge for you this week, all right? What I want you to do is practice this process. All right. I want you to choose one moment, do it for real if you want. or practice on something that's happened before. But choose a moment, whether it's a meeting, a conversation, a presentation, an event. Take 5 minutes beforehand and use a room primer. So remember, you're going to choose your moment. So what is that situation? Then you're going to calm your body. You're going to step into the version of yourself, and you're going to add your anchor, and then you're going to mentally rehearse this process. All right. So pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to your breathing, how you're walking differently, how you're speaking slowly and clearly and concisely. All right. So anyway, that's the end of today's show. I really hope you found this useful. Don't forget to jump onto YouTube, and if you're not subscribing, please subscribe. So it's Millerside Therapy and Coaching, and you can see all the other shows on there as well. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching.